What we're doing today is turning this box into this looking box, which is our plenums. We have 4 of these that connect into the main trunk line. This one has a 9-inch inlet, and then it's going to distribute the air into 3 different directions, going to 3 different registers. So these boxes need to be air sealed, and of course we need to get the taps put in it. So I want to show you how I'm doing that. Unfortunately, I miscalculated and we're waiting on parts, so I won't be able to finish this box, but I can kind of show you the process to get to this point. First things first, let's go ahead and get this 8-inch takeoff on. So I have one side that's riveted, that's going to be the top. So we're going to go ahead and put the 8 on this side. So the 8 is going in here, and it's going to be 6, 6, and 4, I believe. Yes, 6, 6, and 4. So let's go ahead and mark that. 6, 6, 4, 8. All right, all I do here, eyeball my takeoff, try to get it in the center as much as I can. Going to take a hole saw here and get started. Because of the build budget, we are going to cut these holes the old-fashioned way. They do make a tool that you can buy. I don't know what the cost is on it, but either way, I wasn't going to spend the money for the tool. I don't have a ton of these to do, and that money could be better used elsewhere. Nothing too exciting about air sealing these boxes and putting tape on, so we're just going to kind of speed through this, but I did want to make a note. You can build these boxes yourself if you're really tight on the budget. For me, it's just a time versus budget thing, and I didn't want to take the time to have to do this. You know, this has been a long project, and I really want to get this thing done, and I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so we just had these things fabricated and delivered. Attaching the takeoffs is pretty easy. I bend every other tab over, so you have half tabs on the inside and half the tabs on the outside. And once those are on, we can put our drywall tape on here just because the holes are a little bit bigger before we put our mastic on. And then it's time to get the brush out, paint the mastic on, and then we can get these things hooked up to the main trunk line, which will be next. All right, we're gonna put a saddle tap on here, and I am thinking probably right here. I know there's a seam here, a pipe seam, and there's a pipe seam there. And I know my seam up here is good, but I don't want to put this straight out because then I can't get below this thing. So what I'm doing is kind of angling it up so I can run my flex duct up and keep it tight. That way I still have room to get underneath. So let's go ahead. What I've been doing, I'm going to keep it away from that strap just a little bit. What I've been doing is just taking my marker here, drawing a circle on the inside. That looks pretty good. So a couple of things with these taps. When you put them on, you don't want to have a tap directly on the other side of it. You want to keep your taps 2 feet apart, preferably. That way the turbulent airflow has time to settle down before it hits the next tap. So on the other side, we have a 9-inch, which is down there probably 8 feet or so. And this is the first tap off the main line. So we don't have to worry about any of that. You also don't want to have a tap on the very end because that's going to get all the airflow. So I keep my last tap is 2 feet from the end. Go ahead and just cut this stuff. I'm cutting just outside my
circle that I drew, and you'll see why here in a second. Okay, and then I just have been doing, I guess I'll do it from this way, slits on the corner here to help me get my taps in. Now I can take these and kind of pull them back. Should give me enough room to get my tap in there, just like that. So now what I'm going to do is the same thing here. I'm going to start it just like I did with our boxes. And I'm going to use my red snips here and just kind of spiral it around. And then again, I'm just cutting on the outside of my circle here. I don't want to impede the airflow if at all possible, so got some sharp pieces on that stuff, so just be careful. Get my piece out from in there. These have a little gasket, so I'm going to take the paper off and stick it on there. These have some pre-drilled holes in them for your screws. I use a little more than what they have here. Then I also put some on the side there, so I got 6 screws total holding this on. Okay, then all I need to do is bring my insulation back around, and then we'll tape all this stuff back up. When we come back and hook our flex up. And that's it to those saddle takeoffs. Those are pretty nice. And we got one more to do, so we'll get that done, and then we can get our distribution boxes down here and maybe start getting them hooked up. Wanted to pass on a little tidbit of information I learned yesterday. If you remember from the previous video, we have all of our ducts, straight boots coming down, and then I have a small 4-inch piece of straight pipe that I'm hooking my elbow into. That way when I run my flex over to it, it's running in a straight line. I'm not trying to bend this flex around, and it's not hanging from a boot. It's actually in a straight line, and I'm putting a strap very close to where the elbow is. You'll see that here in a minute. But what I learned yesterday is with these elbows by themselves, when you're trying to hook this flex onto it, you're putting it on the end, fits over. It's kind of tough to get it over that first rib on these elbows. And what I like to do, what I found out really makes a secure connection, is having one of these duct connectors in there with the rib and getting your flex beyond that rib, and then putting your Panduit strap past the rib and some of that metal wire inside the flex duct. That prevents it from being pulled off, and then you can use your duct tape to get a nice seal around the other end. So this, which is what I ended up with yesterday when I did my first run, I'm trying to tape this in here and get a good seal and put my Panduit strap on. And there's just not a lot of meat there to hang on to, so the duct slips off pretty easy, wherein if I give myself a little bit more room, a little bit more meat, I can really get this flex duct slid up there past that rib. And actually I can get a couple of these internal wires on there. Now I put my Panduit strap on there beyond that rib and put my duct tape in here for a seal, and you end up with a nice rock solid connection. Plus I'm running it horizontally this way. I'm not trying to bend it up into my duct like this, anything goofy. So I think that's going to give me a nice aerodynamic, secure fit. So last night I went and bought these duct connectors for all my elbows, so we're going to go ahead and use those. When you get your flex duct out of the box, it's going to be all scrunched together. So get 2 people, have one person at the other end, one person at this end, and pull this inner liner and stretch it out. Get it nice and taut, and it's probably going to stretch out a little bit beyond what your insulation is. You can pull on your insulation jacket too and kind of stretch that out. What I need to do is cut 13 feet on this 4-inch piece here. So I'm going to show you how to cut this flex duct. It's really easy. We're at 13 feet right here, which is what I need. So what I'm going to do is just take a knife here and poke my jacket and get started. Cutting through the insulation, the outer and the inner. And then once you get started, I just take scissors, go around, and I'm hitting the wire right there. So what I'm going to do is take my side cutters, cut my wire, and then I can go right on through. That's all there is to cutting it, and then you can just take that inner liner, pull it a little bit, and I roll my insulation back on the end, because I'm going to want to put a couple of these bands on that connector. So just roll the insulation back a little bit, then when you're done you can roll it back over. All right, let's get this down there and get it installed. Installing these elbows is really difficult, probably the hardest part of this whole install, just because there's not a lot of room to work underneath there. I'm so close to the wall with the register. If I had to do it over again, I'd probably pull everything back out. Once I got the direction the elbow needed to go, I'd mark it, pull it all out, and then
insulate it all, seal it all up, and then insulate it all, I think would be a lot easier. But I will say the extension on the elbow at the bottom, hooking up the flex, really makes things a lot easier and really provides a secure connection, which you'll see here in a minute. Having another hand would really be nice too, but my leg works just as well.
At what it looks like there before I pull the insulation back over it. So that rib on that piece is right here, and it goes all the way there. That connector piece goes all the way to there. So I'm back pretty far on it. I like that much better. I don't think that's going to come off at all.
After you get your duct tape on there and your Panduit strap, then you can get your insulation pulled up and get it taped off. And then the big thing here is stretching that inner liner out to make sure you got it as smooth as possible on the inside to give you the best airflow. Couple of things with hanging your flex duct: get some straps wide enough so you're not smushing your insulation down and decreasing the R value where the strap is at to prevent sweating. And also, you don't want your duct to belly down in between each strap, so put them close enough to support it to get a straight run.
This is a little bit tricky because there's not a lot of room, and I got this lever here that closes and opens that damper. So I'm just putting a couple of nails on there, and then we'll tape it, strap it up, and it looks like that 8-inch on the other side is sagging a little bit, so I'm going to throw another strap in that as well, and that should get us pretty good. There we go, and I'm not going to connect that yet because I need to be able to move that damper when we get down to the testing phase. So that's pretty much it for right now. Like that. And from this point, it's just rinse and repeat. There it is, all strapped up and connected into our plenum box. And I can't connect this insulation yet, so I'm going to leave it rolled back because I need to operate this damper lever right here. Right there. That opens and closes these dampers. So when we get to the testing portion of the air handler and we need the appropriate CFM coming out of each register, we have one guy up top, one guy down at the bottom here, and we'll be adjusting these. And then once they're done, we'll take these and just fasten them to the duct, and they will be set permanently. It's kind of one of those set and forget things. So for now, that's all we can do until we get things hooked up. We have 2 more here, and then I need to connect it into the main trunk line over there. You can kind of see how we're suspending it just with the black straps. So everything is just suspended. Nothing is attached rigidly to the framing. Alrighty, let's keep going.
Well, guys, we are done with the supply ductwork, and I am glad that is behind us. That was a lot of hard work, a lot of crawling around in that crawl space, and it's filling up quick, honestly. With the plumbing under there and the heating and cooling under there, there's not a lot of room to maneuver around, so things are starting to get a little tight, and we have quite a bit yet to do in there. We have a gas line to run. The ERV lines are going to be run underneath here, so there's some work yet to do, but we have a big chunk behind us as well. I'll leave you guys with a little look at some of the ductwork here in the crawl space and what we've accomplished over the last week, and we'll see you guys on the next video.